Hi, it's me again, but with more stupid nonsense stuff. So you remember this PlayStation 2 arcade machine with a custom control panel for Guitar Hero? Well, that was great and all, but it only worked for these Guitar Hero games. And that's because this control panel was just a custom PlayStation 2 controller. At some point in the Guitar Hero and Rockband lineage, things changed from having controller support and they were mandatory guitar and drum set peripherals only. So if I want to play these games, I have to rebuild a guitar controller with an actual PlayStation 2 guitar. So I did. But it's not that simple. Fundamentally, you have to hold down a fret button and strum, and we're just taking the guts out of one of these plastic guitars and turning it into a 10-button control panel. And the problem is, every time I want to press a fret button, I also want to strum. And that's where we have to get clever. So all I'm going to do is connect all 10 buttons to one of the up or down strum keys. So that way when you press a button, you get a strum at the same time. But it's not that simple, because if we press a couple fret buttons, then all of the fret buttons can essentially be pressed. So we have to put a diode on every single one, and that'll prevent us from getting ghost fret buttons with strums at the same time. This is just a regular diode with a 0.7 voltage drop, and the scope says that the PlayStation controller signals are around 3.3 volts. So it still worked in my test setup, but it seemed like a pretty big loss of signal integrity. So I switched to schottky diodes, which have a 0.3 voltage drop, and the end of the story is it works just fine. So here's that. So yeah, it's good. So now I can play all the other Rock Band and more recent, but not too recent, Guitar Hero games all on this PlayStation 2 arcade thing that I made, which is really nice. I have some opinions about Rock Band, and well, it's not as good as Guitar Hero because it's really more like Drum Hero. And anyway, so I had a moral conundrum too, because I had to salvage the circuit board out of a working PlayStation 2 controller for Guitar Hero. And I just didn't want to scrap this thing because I have this empty shell. And looking at the circuit, it's single-sided, which is always kind of a nice thing. There is some symmetry about its layout. So I just took some measurements, copied everything, and kind of came up with a design to hopefully make a circuit board that would hold a Arduino Pro Micro to turn this controller into a USB PC controller that would work for like Clone Hero or anything else. The strum button still worked, and I did make a footprint that also worked with cherry keys, because just in case, but those don't really have enough force to make it feel good. But everything goes back in exactly the way it does. The whammy button doesn't quite work because the potentiometer on the whammy button is not in its neutral point. It's like 3/4 of the way pulled down. So in a USB digital setting, it's like that button's always being pressed. So I just had to disconnect it, and I'll worry about that later. Routing the USB cable, this is kind of an afterthought. I don't have a grommet, and I'm not going to design some 3D CAD part. I just wanted to see if it works. And it does work. So Windows recognized this, and we have up and down, and then just the fret buttons plus start select. And yeah, you can do stupid stuff with it. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's my update to getting the full experience with Guitar Hero and Rock Band and my PlayStation 2 arcade. Yeah, I'm trying to look cool while doing this, but it's impossible. I do have a couple extras of these PCBs. I only had one controller for this, and the minimum. Anyway, it only works for this Guitar Hero controller version number. That's the only thing I've tested it for. So if you do want one of these PCBs because you are rescuing something or fixing something, I don't know. It only works for, I've only tested the fit for this model, but just follow the links in the description. I have a few extra. I don't think I'm going to do anything with them. Okay, seriously, now, thanks for watching. Goodbye.